I'm buying the dip. You shouldn't buy a dip in a bear market. You should short it until bottom and then buy the bottom. No one knows when we're at a bottom. Better to get a reasonable discount hodl and ensure that I'm hodling during the largest growth days of the year. It's not a discount if it's gonna be half the price you bought next week. It absolutely is a discount if it's gonna be 100x the price I bought in 5 years.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. You guys freaking rule. Hope you're having an awesome weekend so far. Today is Sunday. Having a look, we still don't have much really happening. In fact, it's almost eerily still right now. I mean, if we have a look at the charts right now, I mean, we are just consolidating to the, I mean, look at this. We're just fluctuating between, look, 30, 37, 38, 37, 38, and it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So a lot of people are definitely keeping their eyes on this, and we are pretty much convinced at this point there's going to be a massive move very soon, whether to the upside or the downside, but this coil can't get much tighter than it is right now. So that's what we are focused on today. Now, we're going to get into that in just a second. I want to have a look at the markets. So we have a $132 billion market cap, which is pretty much what we had yesterday and pretty much what we had the day before and the day before. So as you can see, not much is happening right now. Now, we do have a 24-hour volume of 16 billion, which is not bad. That's actually pretty decent, all right? We have Bitcoin sitting around $3,859. Ethereum still holding steady in that second place at 152. And XRP kind of between 35 and 36 cents right now. Now, Bitcoin dominance hasn't really moved. Interesting, all right? Having a look at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Odom, Holochain, Litecoin, Ravencoin, Metaverse, ETP, Cardano, Zilliqa, Bitcoin Diamond, Nano, and Aeon. Now, I had a look over at Odom because whenever a coin pumps like this, I'm just curious. So obviously you can see it's up a massive 37%, 41% in ETH. And having a look at the markets that it's in, it looks like the top market is Dragon X, which I'm not too familiar with, and it's only doing about $813,000 worth of volume, which it's not really that high, so there's not a lot of liquidity, so I would definitely be careful with this one, especially if you're trying to get in after it just pumped all this. So definitely be careful with that. We don't have to go over this too much. This is what we've been looking at. This is what we're focusing on right now. I mean, we are just coiling tighter and tighter and tighter, and the question is, which way are we going? Are we going up? Are we going down? That's the question that we're going to be looking into in the beginning of this video. Now, my brain, when we see 3,800 and then brain activity at 3,805 cents, right? Which way is it going? I mean, this is how everyone in crypto is right now. We're just anticipating what is going to be going on with this. So talking to some of the experts in the space, I myself am not a price technical analysis expert by any means, so I tend to look at these other guys to see what they say. So short-term bulls believe the market could be ripe for a bullish run. We spoke about this. It looks like it's somewhat setting up for a potential bear trap, which we don't usually see that. It's usually a bull trap, right? So they cite the steady increase in Bitcoin's trade volumes and transaction rate. So we have researcher and cryptocurrency analyst Willy Woo, who has been right a lot in the past. He thinks that this might not be the case. So in a set of tweets, he argues that the on-chain volumes are just a little bit too low for a sustained run. He cites volatility as a reason for the increased on-chain volumes. So we can see right here, I don't know if you guys follow Willy Woo. He tends to usually get it right. I mean, a lot of times this guy tends to be right. He says, despite the technical setup that suggests bullishness is possible, there's not a lot of on-chain volume. The initial volume spike false signaled a faster detox and an earlier end to the bear market, but in fact, it was volatility. I mean, we saw what happened. We fell from 6 to 3. No one was expecting that, right? So scrolling down here, he also says that the volume has since subsided, leaving the NVT chart, which is something that he uses. It's like his indicator on the high side of the oscillation around the main move downward. So you know, he also predicted the Bitcoin downtrend in November, and if we look at November, I mean, he pretty much called it spot on. I mean, look, going back to here, here's November 1st. This is November 1st right here, and he was calling for a downtrend, and basically this is the month of November. It ends right here. So this is the month of November. Okay, so going back to basically what he was saying, he thinks that this bear market could persist until 2019. So could we have a short-term rally? Yes. Okay. But personally, we were discussing on the channel how it may be a sustained market until we have that 1 year to the halvening, which could be in May. So we're looking at a very slow Q1, Q2, possibly. However, if everyone's looking at this, right? That's the thing, like, when everyone thought we were going to go higher, that's when the smart money shorted, right? Now everyone thinks we're going to go lower. Maybe these guys are buying. Could be, could be. Now, moving on, according to the other technical analyst, Don Alt, he's also pretty big on Twitter, he's talking about Bitcoin establishing a foundation for a strong short-term rally, but he says it's going to have to break out above the major resistance levels, which is above $4,500 currently. So monthly, still bearish, needs to move above 4,500. Weekly rejected by weekly resistance, but finally showing some bull momentum. He says, I'd like to see us start closing above 4,300 before turning completely bullish. So currently, despite the relatively stable past few weeks demonstrated by the majority of cryptos, the market is still down 43% from November levels, which is insane. I know, we weren't expecting that. So to initiate a strong short-term rally, the cryptocurrency market would have to add more than 80 billion to its valuation, which is possible if the Bitcoin price is able to sustain its momentum throughout the first 2 quarters of 2019. Now, you also have Chris Bernisk. He's a partner at Placeholder VC, and he goes to ask, but the mainstream, right? For most, crypto is not relevant to their lives right now. If they didn't invest in 2017, they've probably forgotten about it, and if they did, chances are a lot of people have a really bad taste in their mouth and want to forget about it, right? He says, I don't say this to dishearten us, quite the opposite. We remain in the installation phase of crypto, where the primary users are developers and investors. There is so much left to build and promise to be realized, which is massively exciting, and we really need to work out those kinks before we really onboard the masses. But with the emergence of custodial solutions and strictly regulated liquidity providers, the cryptocurrency markets may see an inflow of institutional and high-profile investors in 2019. Now, guys, inevitably, I firmly believe in evolution, okay? Maybe the masses aren't ready for it. Maybe crypto's too volatile. Maybe Bitcoin is too slow right now. The infrastructure really isn't there, but it's not time to throw in the towel and give up. You know, you can have a look at this chart with the evolution of money, and it's almost laughable each time you progress to the next thing, right? Bartering, and then we move to coins, we have metal, then you know, it's too heavy to carry those around, so then you get paper notes, right? But then that notes turned into cash, and then we had credit cards that represented the cash in the banks, and now we tie ourselves using those credit cards with those e-payments, right? You have PayPal, Venmo, all these other solutions, and now we have crypto. So I just wanted to point that out, guys, because I am very forward thinking. Clearly, you guys are as well, if you're on this channel and you're watching. Now, here's a little bit more of negative news, but I'm just telling you what's going on, guys. So in a recent interview with Business Insider, legendary investor and analyst Gary Shilling, great name, by the way, right? Shilling, it would actually be funny if this guy was into crypto. But anyway, so he explained that he won't be investing in Bitcoin anytime soon, calling it a black box. Black box, not bird box, okay? Black box, totally different. Now, let's see what he means by this. Well, one of his biggest complaints regarding Bitcoin is the creator, Satoshi, being an anonymous figure, which he feels creates a lack of transparency for the technology. He cites one of his concerns. Imagine if, you know, Satoshi woke up out of nowhere and decided that he was going to spend his 980,000 Bitcoins that he has in his holdings, right? Imagine what that would do to the markets. So he's worried about that. He says he's very suspicious of this not being transparent, and he says, if I can't understand it, I don't want to invest. Now, while I don't agree with him as far as investing in Bitcoin, I actually do agree with him in if you don't understand it, don't invest, okay? Because this is something I think about when people ask me, you know, hey, should I invest in Bitcoin? I mean, obviously I want to say yes, you know, because personally I believe in it, but my first response is no. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. They're like, well, don't you do crypto? Don't you have like a crypto channel? I'm like, yeah. But honestly, one of the biggest problems last year was people investing in things that they didn't truly understand, just throwing money at whatever coin your friend was telling you about, right? So I do agree with him on that point, but he did draw parallels between Bitcoin's recent price performance and that of the South Sea bubble. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that, an infamous stock scam in the early 18th century where South Sea company stock skyrocketed on false claims, rumors, and speculative investments before crashing to zero. Now, I don't think Bitcoin's going to zero. No freaking way. You guys already know my opinion on that, but we could have some turbulent times ahead. Now, counteracting on that, we have Mohammed El-Arian, the chief economic advisor at Aliens, and he discussed the future of cryptos at a conference that happened in November, and he went on to say, I think cryptocurrencies will exist. They will become more and more widespread, but they will be a part of an ecosystem. They won't be as dominant as some people think, right? We're not going to all just wake up one day and everyone's using Bitcoin, but he does think that there will be sort of a symbiotic relationship and they'll all have a place in this ecosystem where, cryptos and fiat and precious metals, will all have their place short term. Long term, we don't know. But short term, it seems like the most plausible, end solution. So I gotta love these bird box memes. So I wanted to talk about this. I want to ask you guys the question because this is something that's been coming up a lot lately. And the doom and gloom and like the negativity and everyone saying we're going to go lower is almost like a yin-yang parallel mirror of what we were experiencing when we were going to the all-time high. I mean, if you literally just flip that enthusiasm upside down into the despair that people are feeling now, it feels to me like the same thing. And I wanted to talk about that with you because we have this guy, he posts on Reddit, overall market cap was about 800 billion when we had the bull run a year ago. Today it's between 120 and 130. What makes you think that we will not reach that or above that again? Are people too clever now not to FOMO in, or are the big boys, the ICO FUD holding us down? So let's have a discussion. Well, I highlighted some of these. These are why people think that, it won't. So this guy says because at the peak of the bull run, the Bitcoin fees were $50 and it was making it difficult for people to enter the market, having to wait very long for confirmations and having minimum order amounts of more than 500 at places that sold it. Nobody could use it. And for what it was supposed to be, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, it failed. Okay? Well, we've solved that. In fact, we just talked about it yesterday, how the fees for Bitcoin are averaging around 2 cents, which is the same that it was 3 years ago for almost half the transactions. So we've doubled the volume, but yet the price has stayed the same. The guys behind the scenes have worked very, very, very hard at Bitcoin Core to get this up and running to a place where we don't run into these situations, where we don't have networks getting clogged, okay? So to that, I say we have worked on that. That's not really a good argument anymore. So this person says, well, quite simple, demand. Most people in this subreddit keep talking about limited supply, but they seem to ignore the fact that where there's also limited demand of cryptocurrencies, this could affect it. Limited supply doesn't matter if demand doesn't go up. Thing is, how can you guarantee cryptos will remain in demand? That's a good statement. We don't, right? We don't know that there'll be a demand, great, limited supply. Well, Beanie Babies, right? I'm not going to talk about Beanie Babies, but I think you know where I was going with that one. So another person says, we will have a bull run, but not like last year. Last year was a blow-off bubble. We can have a steady increase for years, then eventually another FOMO rally and bubble again. Could be 2 years, could be 5 or less. And finally, I just want to highlight someone that I have one down here. Most cryptos are vulnerable to quantum computing. Okay, maybe technically, but from what I'm aware of, I mean, unless the government has some like secret quantum computing machine that we don't know about, there was an article that came out that they said that quantum computing is nowhere near where it would have to be to literally crack like the Bitcoin blockchain. So that is not really something we need to worry about right now. And this guy positively says another bull run is inevitable, but here are some implausible reasons that could prevent one. So the first one being cryptocurrency is universally and permanently outlawed. Probably not going to happen at this point, guys. If it hasn't happened already, it's probably not going to happen. 2, an unfixable security flaw is discovered that affects the underlying technology, making all crypto projects unsafe. Impossible since different projects have different technologies and many projects have passed security audits, but that could be a big problem. Imagine finding some major bug in Bitcoin. Now, they've found a few, but none of them have been like really bad, but that could be an issue. And then also, let's just say this could happen. What about if the existing cryptocurrencies become antiquated overnight by another technology innovation that the world has never seen? Now, he says, think Star Trek replicators, but could be. We could have a brand new tech. I mean, look at Holochain, right? Holochain's not really typical blockchain type, right? Also, we have a lot of DAGs coming out as well. So I want to start a discussion below. What do you guys think? What do you think is something that you think could start the bull run? And what do you think is holding us back from the bull run? Okay, I'm just curious to see what you guys say. Obviously, we talk about price a lot on this channel, but it's not the most important thing. It's definitely the innovation that's going to push this, in my opinion. But hey, while we're talking about price, check this out. So these guys over at Vector Space, I'm not familiar with this project, but I saw this. They are doing a Bitcoin Ethereum bottom callers contest. So basically, you literally just go over here, you give them your prediction, and after the month passes, if you're right, they'll give you some of their tokens, which are VXV tokens. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Call the bottom, win some tokens, guys. So, this is something I wanted to bring up. Now, I love looking at articles that came out like years ago or months ago and kind of like seeing, you know, because hindsight is 2020. So this actually came out October 27th of 2016, and it says Bitcoin prices surge due to China's financial crackdown. Now, at the time, Bitcoin had jumped from $637 up to $200, right? I know, imagine that. That's crazy numbers. I would love either of those prices to buy in at. But, so I wanted to just point it out. So they say China's central bank seeks more control over wealth management products due to the scrutiny of the country's financial state that it's facing. Residents have been seeking ways to maintain the value of their savings and assets due to the decline in the Chinese yuan. However, now just stay with me on this because it's crazy how much he predicted this. However, since China has created a zero tolerance on underground banks, it won't be much longer until China considers banning ICOs to avoid smart contracts that are centered around yuan conversion or money laundering. Well, they did. Okay? Considering the current global economic perspective, regulators across the globe will start considering permits and regulations on cryptocurrency operations in the country. All right. These governmental actions hint at possible integration from regulated financial markets, which will dramatically increase volatility with a positive trend, followed by a downtrend in the markets. Anybody remember Bitcoin futures on December 17th? Literally massive bull run the day they freaking debuted. Instant crash, okay? So he says, however, due to its decentralized nature, it would be impossible to control cryptocurrencies, hence the extreme amount of speculation and volatility. Any type of regulatory implementation or integration expresses feared behavior and will cause purchasing powers to be rather difficult. This will lead to an increase in price in the foreseeable future. Well, this guy's already got 2 out of 3, so we will see what happens. We are definitely predicting quite an uptick. Now, I wanted to talk about this. A lot of people in the community are worried about this because of what happened when BitMEX shut down on August 22nd. So we know that Bitfinex and Ethfinex, they gave notice that they're shutting down tomorrow. I forget how long they're shutting down for. It's a few hours. They gave out a notice, but people are freaking out because, like, you guys remember what happened when Bitfinex shut down? So long story short, when they went offline for their scheduled maintenance on that day, Bitcoin climbed more than $400 in a matter of 20 minutes. It went from 6,400 to 6,800. The explanation was that it was postulated by traders. They said there was no active Bitcoin short positions to drive the value of Bitcoin down. I actually have it right here. This was the day, August 22nd, and you can see right here, we just skyrocketed $400, and in like literally they said 20 minutes. It was crazy. So some people are worried that that could happen again, and everyone's freaking out. They don't know what to do, right? Well, let's just talk about this a little bit. So the theory holds water given that BitMEX is currently handling a 24-hour Bitcoin trade volume of 664 million out of the total 4.928 billion. So that's 13.5% of the entire Bitcoin trade volume. 13% is pretty high. Now, if you check out CoinMarketCap and you look at Bitfinex, you'll see that it's ranked 13 with a 24-hour volume of only 198 million, and also Ethfinex ranked 93 has about 1.89 million. So the total 24-hour volume of the crypto markets currently stands at 16. We just looked at that earlier. These two exchanges currently only cater for around 1.25%. So what happened with Bitfinex, you're talking a major difference, 13.5%. You know, you got guys 100xing, right, and all this other stuff, leverage. 1.25%. So checking the Bitcoin trade volume, Bitfinex is currently handling 51.4 million of the total 24-hour trading volume. So this is less than it's a little over 1%, okay, of the trade volume. So it's safe to conclude that it's the 3 to 7 hours that they're going to be offline. Most likely is not going to create that much volatility. 1% of the total Bitcoin trade volume being inactive, during the server upgrade is probably not going to cause volatility. So basically, to just sort of let you guys know, don't worry about freaking out. I don't think it's going to affect it. It's very low volume, and it's not going to be like what we saw with BitMEX, okay? So just, there you go. So we don't have to freak out about that. All right. Now, this is the chart. So one thing I did want to talking about exchanges. So I know here in the US, we get really frustrated. I know I get frustrated specifically in New York because of not being able to, use all these different things. Well, Kraken pretty much said, they go, peek at our compliance team's 2018 transparency report. You could see why many businesses choose to block U.S. users. The cost of handling subpoenas, regardless of licenses, is quickly becoming a barrier to entry. And you could see right here, actual law enforcement requests received. Look at this. In 2017, it was 160. 2018, it was 475. So if we go over to the article right here, you can see that Kraken operates in Canada, the EU, Japan, and the US. So they got 475 subpoenas, up over 100%. Of those 475, 315 were from the US, the largest number of requests made by the FBI, followed by Homeland Security investigations and the Drug Enforcement Authority. Now, obviously, these guys got to do their job, but you understand why they're just like, you know what, screw the U.S. We don't even feel like dealing with it, right? So Kraken says that U.S. laws prevent it from informing users when authorities request information about their transactions. It's usually prohibited as the request comes as part of an open investigation. So yeah, I mean, if you're using Kraken and you're a U.S. citizen, that they could be investigating your, trades and stuff right now, and you wouldn't even be notified about it. So you guys can read more about this if you want. They went on. They had like a massive rant. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So that explains a lot. I mean, the U.S. definitely makes it quite difficult. Now, before we get on, guys, this happened the other day. I didn't see it because I don't follow Craig Wright on Twitter. As you can see over here, he actually changed his account to private. So I don't know. I probably won't follow the guy, but he went on and he was really dissing Andreas Antonopoulos apparently, which is crazy. Now this happened a few days ago, but I didn't even know about it because like I said, I don't have it on Twitter. So he dismissed Andreas Antonopoulos' wealth of knowledge on Bitcoin, saying that the only correct thing that the host of Let's Talk Bitcoin podcast knows is how to spell Bitcoin. Why is this guy such a jerk? In his view, Antonopoulos is an anarchist due to the philosophy he espouses with regards to what cryptocurrency should and should not be. He said these guys have an idea of what they want as a system. It's anti-bank, anti-government, and based on scams, Ponzi's, and get-rich-yesterday schemes. The best they understand are bucket shops and cons. Luckily, Bitcoin is designed so all these fools spin their wheels on dead ends. And look, he says, word of warning, the renowned expert Andreas Antonopoulos is far from anyone can come to understanding Bitcoin. Then, if you want to learn about Bitcoin blockchain, avoid the anarchist priest. Sorry, nothing he tells you is right. Guys, Andreas Antonopoulos is like hands down like one of the most like down-to-earth, honest, like legitimate Bitcoin guys in the space. So this is just crazy, man. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, but moving on, just wanted to say that happened. Now let's get into some coin news for the day. So today we don't have a lot of coin news, not too much. Maybe it's because it's the weekend. But so you have Ripple's chief market strategist, Corey Johnson, says retail giants like Amazon could actually benefit from Ripple's suite of cross-border payment solutions. So when asked where he sees Ripple in 10 years, he said that he can see the company's technology playing a key role in helping some of the world's biggest companies move money and pay their employees in a timely, efficient, and low-cost manner. He says Amazon, probably the most capital-efficient company in the history of the world, has $1 billion laying around in accounts just to pay employees somewhere or to pay a vendor somewhere because the system of moving money is so slow. He says, I can analyze that and figure out what it looks like. I can't imagine what a world looks like in 10 years where you can employ that worker in Bangladesh here from the States, or a Thai nanny can send money home from Japan to pay her family, to have her family have a truly better standard of living. He goes on to say in places where you know, an extra $5 a month could be life-changing. He can really imagine this making a big difference. He also talked about the roles of cryptocurrencies like XRP and how they're going to help reshape the current financial system. So he says the technology of XRP allows for transactions to happen very fast. The current state of the art in the financial industry for moving money is based on a messaging platform called Swift. Now, you've probably heard of this, but Swift was written in 1973, and it's run by a consortium of thousands of banks with thousands of employees in Belgium. And in order to make any changes to the Swift network, you have to get all the disparate pieces of the financial system essentially to agree on it. I might have said that word wrong. Anyway, yes, so that's the Ripple news that we have today. We also have some interesting news from Cardano. So National Broadcast TV station NHK introduced Cardano as a reliable and scientific project. Cardano was also described as active community project. So here you go. Here's some screenshots right here. Obviously, I have no idea what any of this says, but you can obviously see the Cardano logo. Here's another one. There's another picture. So yeah, I guess that's cool. There you go for Cardano. Pretty good news, guys. So also, I wanted to talk about ConsenSYS because so we were talking about miners shutting down, and we were talking about all these guys laying off employees, and the bear market is just destroying these companies and these projects, right? Well, actually, it looks like ConsenSYS, the Ethereum blockchain development consortium, you know, we're very familiar with this, Joseph Lubin. So it looks like they dropped a press release to announce that its business partnership with AMD and Abu Dhabi-based Halo Holdings. So these guys are still making moves, even in the bear market. The trio intends to develop optimized data center solutions for blockchain-related workloads and processes. So by creating an arm that they're referring to as W3B Cloud, which stands for Web 3.0 blockchain cloud. So basically, what is this going to be? It says it says that ConsenSYS will do a majority of the heavy lifting when it comes to the blockchain technologies, while AMD will provide hardware, servicing, and its industry expertise. And then finally, we have Halo says that it's probably just going to be financially backing and advising the venture. The press release claimed that W3B Cloud will be focusing on creating solutions for governments and corporations. So there you go, still building in a down market. And if that doesn't get you pumped, it looks like CryptoTradertax has teamed up with TurboTax. So for anyone concerned about crypto taxes, I'm going to let you know right off the bat, I'm not your guy to talk to. I'm not a professional, but there are professionals out there. And if you're one of those people who like to do it yourself, it looks like you actually can get some help using this. So I just want to let you guys know, I know tax season's coming up. You know, we're all about decentralization, you know, screw the man, right? I'm not telling you to not pay your taxes, okay? So just check that out, okay? And if that doesn't make you happy, how about some Bitcoin nails? Or how about this Bitcoin backpack? Or, that's it. Actually, I don't have any more. So that's it for today, guys. I want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Also, big shout out to everyone that's been so generously voting for Crypto Zombie over at the Crypto Influencer Awards. You guys rule. I don't really value myself as far as like winning an award. I'm more interested in you guys, the community. But this is going to be at Chainwise, and the cool thing about this is it's only a $20 conference. So compared to freaking ConsenSYS, which is like $2,500, even the VIP was over $2,000 at World CryptoCon. So this is a $20 event in which you guys might be interested in going to. But the thing I wanted to tell you is, if you guys do decide to vote for your favorite influencer, whoever, it doesn't have to be me, it could be anybody. I just want to let you know that they only let you vote once for one person. So say you wanted to vote for me in best video production, and then you came down here and you wanted to vote for me in most educational, you couldn't. So you can only vote one category for each person. I just want to let you know that. So, obviously coming down all the way to the bottom, you have Influencer of the Year. Now, personally, I love Crypto Daily. I think Crypto Daily deserves Influencer of the Year. I think he's great. He's funny. I laugh. I love his videos. But they got some other good guys in here. BitBoy, Crypto's News as well. Tone Vase is the man. But just want to let you guys know that, putting that forward. And just so you know, I didn't forget about you guys, okay? I do remember that we have a t-shirt to give away. So let's have a look at the video from yesterday and see how it's going. Here we go. See, look, guys, there you go. Wallet of Satoshi, making progress. All right, let's do this. Put this in. See how many comments we got. 367 unique comments, my goodness. All right, drum roll, please. Zachman Z, still hoping to win a Crypto Zombie shirt. Extra large, please. Great work on the channel. Dude, you won. Finally. So all you got to do, and thank you, I really appreciate it. So all you got to do is hit me up in the About section. Go to my YouTube channel, and you just, the About section's right here. And hit up the email there, and, you know, we'll verify all that. And you will have the t-shirt. And guys, if you didn't win, it's fine. We do stuff all the time on this channel. It's no big deal. We always have some fun. If you guys haven't joined the Crypto Zombies Telegram chat, it's free. You could just click below. It's a free Telegram group. We just talk about crypto all day. Actually, yesterday's video, a lot of that came from the group, all that stuff that was going on with the VC cartels and the funds and stuff like that. So really great community. That being said, that's it. It's the weekend, but it's going to be over soon. And honestly, guys, I don't know what's going to happen by the time this video comes out. I mean, we are so close to something happening right now in crypto that I wouldn't be surprised if in a few hours we see some massive shot up or a massive shot down. I'll tell you a little secret, though. I dollar cost average this morning. Sorry, guys, my camera cut out, but I think that's telling me that we need to get on out of here. But like I was saying, I do have a small confession to make. I did buy just a little bit of Bitcoin this morning. Just a little bit. Not too much. Just a little bit. Because I figured if it goes down, then I can put more in. And if it goes up, well, then I'm, you know, hey, it goes up, right? So that being said, but don't do what I do. Always do your own research, whatever. Don't invest. I'm just a guy on the internet. That being said, you guys rule. I freaking love you. Shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. You are the best. You're the best, okay? Thank you for coming back to the channel. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto, and peace out.